Hey everybody, I guess this is what you would call my vlog number one, I guess. I've never really tried doing anything like this before, but I thought I'd just kind of sit here and shoot the breeze. I'm sitting here in the parking lot waiting for my trumpet lesson that's going to start here at 4:30, and it's like an hour and a half from now. I'm studying some classical trumpet from this guy, maybe learn some things from him about orchestral playing. Looking forward to like learning more about like how to transpose stuff. That's always fun. Whenever you're playing any kind of orchestral music, unless you have a really nice conductor like my friend Les Marsden, then usually you'll get parts that are not transposed. So that's always weird. Then you have to transpose in your head, and usually it's easier to just use a C trumpet, go from there. But since I don't have a C trumpet, I have to do it all in B flat, which is really interesting. So it just takes a lot of practice. I mean, that's all it is. So anyway, got a couple things I maybe would like to talk about. One of these things is I do a lot of recordings at home. I'm one of those guys that does home recordings, record myself playing, record myself singing, all of the above, constantly dealing with studio musicians from all over the world. So a lot of people ask me like, well, what program do you use? Because, I like using, Studio One, or like using, Sonar or Cubase or ProTools. And it's interesting. That's an interesting topic because I've used all of them before. And I guess the one that I use the most is ProTools because that is the industry standard. You hear that a lot. So part of being in the industry is using what everybody else is using. It just helps kind of speed the process forward. People that don't use Pro Tools, in my opinion, just seem to kind of hold up the game. I like to kind of be real, positive toward people who want to learn their software, and it's good to kind of know your stuff. But then when you're kind of on the game and you're on a job and you're kind of struggling a little bit to kind of be quick, that's a little frustrating. And I've definitely had sessions where the engineer is kind of falling behind, and we're sitting there waiting, and nothing more frustrating about that. And 100% of the time they're not using Pro Tools. So that's kind of the lesson learned, is that if you use Pro Tools, you can kind of have it go quick. However, Pro Tools isn't flawless. There's problems like if you open up a new session, you close a session, then you have nothing going. There's no sound. And then you open up another session, then you have to reset everything so you can hear everything. And that's a little frustrating, I'll admit. But then again, it's like, well, everybody's using it. I have to be on board with what everyone else is doing. I can't be, doing my own thing, and I won't get any work. The bottom line is I have to be employable. And so I have to use what people are using. Same thing with the trumpet. I can't be, pretending like, I'm some kind of huge star when people aren't looking for a star. They're looking for someone to come in and just read that damn part, And so I'll come in and I'll read the damn part, I'll sit down and I'll play everything exactly as you have it written. And I won't complain, and I'm just gonna, you write 5 flats, 6 flats, 6 sharps, okay, bring it on, I guess that's a good reason I practice my scales, So anyway, that brings me to another reason here, I'm a trumpet player that plays a lot of session stuff. I've done a lot of things on Fiverr. I've done some things for some other people, just kind of whatever I can get my hands on, we just go for it, and that's it. Try to have a good attitude about everything. You have to really, really love what you're doing. And one thing's for sure is that I really, really love playing. I love to play the trumpet. It's like my favorite thing in the whole world. However, you know, it's a very frustrating instrument because you're sitting there having to practice constantly. You know, I have these times when I sit down before I'm about to play and I'm just feeling really discouraged because, you know, my chops are not really like as strong as I was hoping they would be. Or for whatever the reason is, I'm just playing really, really bad today. You know, I can't get my head out of whatever my problem is, you know. But then there's all these days when I'm just playing great, you know. I'm just really shining, and then I'm really proud of the hard work that I put in when I practiced. Because the bottom line is that you can't really get anything in life unless you practice. You know, you have to put in your time. I mean, they say that like do anything for like 10,000 hours or something like that, or 20,000 hours. I don't know what the number is, but they say if you do anything for that amount of time, you will get to the point of utter mastery. And it's like, well, dang, that's a lot of time, you know? I'm like, well, dang, I'm lucky if I have even half of that on the trumpet, because like I can only play for like, you know, how long a time, you know, like a session, like I'll play for like, you know, 4 hours, and then I'll be like completely toast. And then I'll be like, well, dang, it takes me a couple days just to recover from that, right? Because I'm not playing, you know, as much as I should be or whatever. So it's like, well, it's easy to get discouraged and say, well, you know, I should probably just stop practicing now, or, you know, I'm just never going to be good enough. But then what I found is also, you know, you always have that kind of reserve in you, you know, like, for instance, like you're in high school and you're running the mile, you know, and you're like, okay, I got to get through this mile, whatever it takes here. I'm running, but I'm just not getting through. You know, you get to the point where you're like, oh, I think I'm done. I only have like one more lap, but I think I'm done. Right? But then you go, no, there's just one more lap left. Right? Here I go. I made it. Yes, I made the mile, and I made it within the time that I had to make it, right? It's the same thing with music. When you're playing, you know, you have that part that you have to play, you know, and they're saying, oh, well, I really hope he plays it. You know, he plays it really great when he plays it, but dang, man, he gets tired. And then he starts taking things down an octave, and then it's not as cool. You know, you can't take it down an octave. You know, that's just what are you thinking, you know? And so you just go, okay, well, I'm just going to do it here, and just go for it. And then you can get that extra, you know, oomph, and then you're playing really, really great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, then you go, wow, I didn't know I had it in me. I can still play that high B, you know, after all this time that I've been thinking that I would be dead and not be able to play that B like an hour ago, and I'm still playing it. This is incredible, you know? It's like if you're running, you know, wow, I just ran the 1.5 miles. I thought I couldn't even run the mile, you know? So if you take anything out of this, I would just say, you know, be positive about what you can do, and just know that you have the opportunity, because whatever it is that you believe in, you know, if you believe in, like, you know, a God or not, or whatever it is, you know, whatever it is inside you that says, hey, Bradley, come on, quit being so lazy. Let's do this. You know, hey, you know, get your trumpet out and start practicing. You know, hey, you know, you haven't played in like the last 2 days, you know, and you have that concert on the 21st, you know, you better get your butt in gear, you know, and whatever it is, that voice inside that tells you to go for it, listen to it, you know, just say, hey, okay, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be really awesome no matter what. All right, so I guess, you know, I'm getting to about 10 minutes here, so I better wrap this up. Anyway, if you take anything out of what I said today, just, do what you have to do to make yourself really rise to the occasion, whether it be, changing your diet or deciding that you're going to go walk every day or do some practicing, say 5 minutes a day, right? Just say, okay, every time I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then I'm gonna go sit at the piano and practice for 5 minutes. I'm gonna set the timer, and that's gonna be my routine. Then you will find that you're getting much, much better at the piano, right? And you're finding that you're living a much better life because you're getting that aspect of your life done. Apply it to anything in your life. There's really nothing that you can't conquer as long as you spend the time, as long as you spend the effort. For instance, if you have like a habit that you want to kick, you can kick it. You don't need any kind of special drugs or anything like that. You just have to have that sensation, that voice in your head that says, hey, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, and just go for it, and just let that voice be your guide. All right. That's all I have to say. That's the way that all these great musicians down in LA are playing. They just kind of, they know that they've done their homework. They've practiced the scales. They know how to read music. They've practiced with the metronome. They have the tuner. Everything that they tell you, that your teacher tells you that you have to work on, say, hey, you really need to work on your rhythm. Go work on your rhythm, for crying out loud. Quit being so arrogant about it and just go for it. And then, of course, there's a big thing that's on my mind about being positive with your music, is that you kind of have to be positive with other people, other musicians, right? I've met several musicians who are just like really quick to just be really defensive and angry, and they just start, kind of, they get to the point of being offensive, and they start like throwing just like really weird stuff. I've heard some really weird things said to me before, complete strangers, have analyzed me to the point that apparently they know everything about my playing, everything about like my whole life. And that just kind of cracks me up a little bit, because you think about it and you're like, wow, I can't believe this guy he knows me better than me, to the point that he's like throwing things out that are not even true, right? And so you just have to be positive with everybody. You can't sit there and just be Mr. Negative, because if you're Mr. Negative, your band quality is just going to go on a free fall, and you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to just keep getting worse. You're going to wonder why you guys don't sound very good, and you're going to get discouraged. Instead, if you just have a positive attitude, you're going to sound great, and you're going to just be having the best time in the world rehearsing and performing. And that's all I have to say, is be positive. All right, I'm going to end this now. Thank you for listening to my rant.